Hello everyone, this is Dr. Bolio and I am transmitting from beautiful Southern California live. This is a live transmission, so I'm very happy to be here with you guys. I am transmitting both in Facebook and in YouTube, hoping that I will not have a problem with this transmission. And today we are going to be talking about self-control eating mechanisms. The name that you will find on the internet or in scientific research, it's called feeding mechanisms, self-control feeding mechanisms, but I don't like the word feeding. It sounds like we're animals, so I went to the word eating, so please forgive me if I confuse anyone, but it's all about eating or feeding, which is the same thing. So today we're going to be talking about just why is it that people will lose weight to regain it again. And to understand this, we would have to understand what it is about us as human beings or as um, living creatures who are eating to stay alive. We are going to be talking about how our body controls how much we eat and how much we don't eat. So as I mentioned, these are called eating self-control mechanisms. And let's talk a little bit about theory so that you understand just how efficient this self-control feeding mechanism is. It turns out that our body has an extraordinary ability to self-regulate food ingestion. We are very good at regulating what we eat. How good are we? Well, here's a little bit of numbers that I want to share with you. We eat approximately 1 million calories per year. Can you imagine that? 1 million calories per year. Now, in order for us to gain 1 pound, we would have to overeat 1,500 calories to gain that pound. Now, statistics say that the adult population here in the United States will gain an average of 1 pound per year. This means that in 1 year, out of 1 million calories, our body will only accept that we add 1,500 extra calories. This is an extra of 0.13% of excess calories during that year. Talk about fabulous control of what we're eating. And all this is done on a subconscious level, on a spontaneous level. Now, why is it that people have gained more than 1 pound per year? Well, only people who go on a diet can gain more than 1 pound per year. This happens when they stop their diet and weight comes back. As long as the person is on the diet, obviously he might be losing weight or maintaining the weight they lost. But once they stop that diet, the person will regain the weight that they lost and even more. The average gain of weight after a strict diet is 20% extra after 2 years. What does this mean? It means that a person who is weighing 200 pounds will weigh 240 pounds, which is 20% more, after 2 years of dieting, gaining 20 pounds per year. So dieting really ruins our self-control mechanisms. Now, how does the body regulate our intake of calories? Well, it uses many hormonal, metabolic, and neurologic mechanisms. It's a spectacle. It's a fantastic way that our body is able to know exactly what we need to eat. Now, this boils down to two events, and the two main driving forces are hunger and satiety. Extensive research has made that has been made on both hunger and satiety, and most importantly, how we react to food. Well, it turns out that food takes hunger away. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that food takes hunger away? Don't tell anyone, because this is just for us guys here in the transmission. And yes, guys, you can honestly, I can be honest with you, and you can believe it. Food takes hunger away. Isn't that extraordinary? Now, food regulates appetite into specific windows. This is very important for you to understand. What we eat right now will influence what we want to or how much we can eat in the following 3 to 4 hours. This is the first window of self-control mechanism. After that 4 hour window, our body will not be restricted by the foods or the food choices that we make, unless, of course, we're eating something every 3 to 4 hours. Now, after that period, that 3 to 4 hour window of self control, it turns out that our body again activates self control mechanisms, and this reappears at about 36 to 72 hours after you've eaten something, when it will again regulate the quantity of food that we eat. What does the body do with these two self control mechanisms? Well, the first one, every 3 to 4 hours, is set up because we were hunter gatherers for thousands and thousands of years, and so it would help us to just regulate exactly what we were eating while we were having something every hour. Now, the other self control window, the 36 to 72 hours, that takes into account how many carbs, how many proteins, and how many fats a person has eaten during this 36 to 72 hour period. And if we're lacking on any of these nutrients, our body will ask us to eat this extra food. So if for some reason, all of you who are doing this Eat Every Hour challenge, if suddenly one of these days you feel an urge to eat something like, for example, oh, I really need to eat a steak, that's your body telling you that you were lacking protein on these previous 36 to 72 hours. The same would go for fats, which would be almonds, which would be pastry, or carbs, and your body can definitely ask for fruits, for honey, for sugar. So that's the second window, okay? Now, satiety is the main mechanism by which our body tells us to stop eating. Satiety is ignored in almost every weight loss diet that exists. When we restrict calories or quantities or nutrients, we will never know when we are satiated. If you're doing a low carb diet and you're craving carbs, you can't eat them because it's a low carb diet. So you learn to ignore your biological impulse. The same for low fat diets, the same for low calorie diets. You learn to just ignore what your body is asking me. And since we learn to ignore satiety, the most important mechanism for self-control is damaged. The main driving force for eating is cravings and or hunger. When you eat the food your body needs, you will obtain great pleasure. Once you're filled, pleasure will disappear and the sensation of satiety will set in. Now, if we wish to obtain long-term weight loss, we have an obligation to recover that self-control mechanism of hunger and satiety. That is precisely why we are eating every hour. We are eating this every hour to take advantage of the short self-control loop and to arrive to a regular breakfast, lunch, and dinner with diminished appetite. Although you can program a healthy meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, remember that there's this second window of 36 to 72 hours, so you should strive to eat a free meal at least once a week and discover just how you react to these meals. It might be a mistake, you might not need them, but it could be that you were lacking any one of these nutrients and you will be needing this period for you to recover what you need to have a balanced diet. Now, if you are eating every hour to lose weight in inches and do not pay attention to your feeling of appetite and satiety, you are wasting your time. You are eating every hour to reactivate your innate self-control mechanisms. I hope you guys understand that. Now, what are we going to do with this Eat Every Hour challenge? Because now we are in week 2. And number 1, we will continue to eat green leaf vegetables every hour. That stays the same as last week. But now we are going to be adding other vegetables, other options like maybe potatoes or corn or beets or carrots or sweet potatoes. Just be careful in quantities because these new vegetables are higher in calories. They have a higher caloric value, and I don't want you guys to eat so much so that after the hour goes by, you're not hungry. Remember, you should not be hungry before the hour, and you should be hungry by the hour. Now, the next step that I want everyone to do is to add fruits every hour. We will begin with low calorie fruits, which would be melon, papaya, watermelon, and jicama. You can cut these up. You can blend them. You can use make them into a juice or a water. Water with fruit, blended with fruit, and that would make it more practical for you to be eating something every hour. Now, after 2 days, you will be adding berries to your program. That means that by the third day, you're going to be having melon, papaya, watermelon, jicama, and any kind of berry. And after 2 more days, which would be by the fifth day, you will be adding whatever fruit you want. We want you to advance. We want you to start discovering just how your body feels when you eat a banana and then after the hour you eat an apple or you eat an orange. Remember that you have to be careful with portions. Do not eat more than you should eat. And well, that's it. That is the recommendation for this week. I did tell you guys that we were going to be doing very short transmissions. So this is it. And I will be leaving to start the Spanish transmission broadcast. And guys, thank you very much for following me. And I hope you have a really, really spectacular week. And may God bless you with happiness, health, and a beautiful body.